Hello everyone and welcome to another video on how to use ChatGPT to improve your GCSE English language and general reading extraction skills. Today we're going to focus on how we can use ChatGPT to produce an extract for us and then walk us through a series of small time test questions which is aimed at not just improving your extraction skills but speeding up as well. So let's get started and look at some of the prompts I've put in already. So I've done my usual task, don't include context. And what I've said here is create a 3-paragraph text in a 19th century fiction style features examples of weather, color, props, such as fire, cracked mirrors, etc., with the purpose of teaching me how to spot and extract the elements to talk about in an evaluative, analytical, and comparative context. Do include obvious, non-obvious language structure techniques, weathers, colours, props, advice at the end of the extract, and what I should be looking for in 10 questions. Now, of course, you can change that to how many questions you want. That require me to name a technique, evidence it, and analyse, evaluate, compare it. Include a gradient of easy questions, challenging, and elite questions with jargon and techniques explained at first, but stretch and challenging towards the end. Now, this is very important, because you don't want it just to give you really simple ones and you learn nothing. At the same time, if you're kind of only aiming for those 4s or 5s, you don't want it to overwhelm you, and that can just result in you kind of switching off. So make sure you're kind of tailoring this to you. I like to do three sets of 3 questions, and that way I can stretch and challenge myself to whatever level I want. So moving down, he said, don't include American English, obviously. Don't include information outside the text. Don't be overly praising. Now, ChatGPT recently has an issue with this. No matter what you say, it will just reward you and clap and be super supportive. And that's great in some contexts, but right now you're going to say, I expect you to be supportive and challenging. But challenging, don't reward me for wrong answers, but guide me. Context, I'm sitting my GCSE English exam soon and struggle to read unfamiliar text, especially if they do not interest me, which is a very, very common complaint. So we say, yep, here we go, let's do it. And it gives you a short 3-paragraph extract. A little side tip, if you are absolutely bricking it, thinking about your creative writing, why not use this? Just take this, maybe try and double the size of it, add your own little twist to it, learn it word for word, and make it fit whatever question comes your way. I know they're changing that in a year's time. If you're working with a QA, you'll notice they're going to make you religiously stick to the prompt given. I think that's in an attempt to try and challenge the use of AI. But, life finds a way, and we'll get around that, no problem. Because, after all, exams are, in essence, a little bit pointless. So we must use all the tools we can to make them easy for us. Anyway, back to this. Ran over. So it's given us our extract. Now we're going to look at 10 guided questions. So here we go. So it's giving you grades 1 to 3 foundation stuff. And it starts with weather description, find a reference to a color, identify one prop. And it asks you simple questions there. Very easy. Now, grades 4 to 5, it gets you to interpret and says, what does it suggest? What do you think? This is where kind of your passing grades come in, and these are very important questions. As we go there, 6 to 7, and 8 to 9. These are the questions that if you can try them, great. If you can't, just skip them or maybe ask it to answer them for you, and you can kind of reverse engineer. There's nothing wrong with the reverse engineering questions. You should be doing that all the time, because how can you know what a grade 9 looks like unless you've seen them before? So there you are, lots of questions there, and you can answer them below. And it gives you a little bit of last minute advice as well. So as an example, I just answered question 7. I tried to make it quite basic, and I said, so the question for 7 was, how does the writer structure the extract around the time of day, morning, midday, dusk? What is the effect on mood and pace? And I just said simply, the writer uses separate paragraphs to show the time of day progressing. I feel like they do this to show the decline of the mood from sad to scared and the pace from slow to quick. Very simple answer, one that wouldn't fail you, but maybe wouldn't get the marks that you deserve. So I gave it that and said, please evaluate my answer. Now, that's an important thing to ask. Please evaluate my answer, good and bad, and show me how it could be done better. And it says, yep, you've done some good things right. And it's then giving me a series of critique, and it's done yes but so, which is actually my favorite method of evaluating for evaluation questions, which is quite fun. So it gave me yes and no. So what was simple, and it quite rightly pointed out that the terms sad and scared are valid or vague. and it wants me to embed more evidence. And then what it does is it gives me exactly what I said, but added to and perfected, which is great, which you should be doing for all your answers anyway, so please do them. It's then offering me some other stuff, and I said, no, thank you. Can you show me how to compare a text with itself and analysing and evaluating its message changing throughout? Do this as a series of 3 questions directing me where to look. This is a really important thing, especially for questions 3 and 4 in paper 1 if you're doing Edexcel. If you're doing AQA or any of the other exam boards, it's the language and structure question and the evaluative, to what extent do you agree question. So I've said, okay, talk to me about how the message changes. Now, if you can do this in your exam and you can talk about how a text starts to how it ends, the examiner's going to be really impressed because it shows them that you've read the whole text and you've considered it as an entire piece. So it's giving me 3 points. So it's asked me, how's the mood of isolation established and how does it shift? How does the writer build tension and how it changes into a sense of threat? And how does the crack mirror appears twice? How is it used differently in each instance? Now, I quite like that, especially that third one. There's always going to be a weather or a prop or a colour that changes, because weathers, props and colours are the 3 things to look at to find. So there you are. It's going to give you 3 things to look at, and you need to practice and perfect this skill. Again, if you've already got an extract, you can just click the plus button down there and just take a picture of the extract and upload it, and it will do exactly this for an extract you have. So you don't have to rely on it making you an extract at all. So my last bit, as I said, this is great, thank you. I really struggle reading text in the exams. What is common weather, colour and props I can look for that usually appear, along with some default responses I can write down for nearly any analysis question that should give me a mark or 2 in case I panic. Do not underestimate the chance that you will panic, because it happens to everyone. How we get around this, okay, is we have some default responses, very generic, very easy, not perfect, not grade 9, but easy to get on there that you can then expand. And it's given you 3 things, and I'll let you guys read this as we go. But so it's given you several weathers and what it means and suggests, and phrases you can use to do. So, for example, if there's any fog, okay, if there's any fog in your extract, it says it usually suggests confusion, secrets, and mystery. And you can say the fog creates a sense of obscurity or uncertainty. Guess what? Your examiner's going to look at that and go, yep, it certainly does. Here's a mark for that. It does it for colours. Colours are really simple, but they're always fun to do. Again, lots of phrases there. Please pause and read these if you need one. Again, learning these off by heart could be your ticket to a pass. And same for props as well. There's always some props. There's always something there. Even a fireplace, which is very common in 19th century text, is good to have. And again, it's then going to give you some exam responses, panic-proof starters, the writer uses, this then changes, this symbolises. And if you can combine all 3 of these together, you're going to be looking at a response that is going to get you over the line. Okay? So don't panic. That's number 1. Don't panic. Just take your time. But learn these phrases so you go in there knowing, even if everything goes wrong, I still have something to fall back on. Sometimes the fear of not seeing the flaw can send you panicking. So have a flaw, have these things you can rely on, and you're going to do great. It's exam season now, so if you're watching this live or quickly after it was published, best of luck. You've got this. And exams don't define who you are, and never will. All they define is how well you can follow a set of instructions that were written by people that have pretty much no idea who you are and how people actually live. So just keep that in mind for me. Anyway, learn to use AI, or AI will learn to use you. And good luck.